Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Regular viewers here know that I'm a big fan of General Motors product. I have 4 Chevy cars, even my motorhome's a Chevy. I have a Pontiac and the wife drives a Buick. We're big fans of General Motors products. Right now we are in the beautiful state of Idaho and we have a Toyota Camry, a 2021 Toyota Camry as a rental car. Now after driving this thing for 2 weeks, can Toyota win me as a future buyer? Let's give a quick little review and find out. So this is the 2021 Toyota Camry. All in all, I don't think it's not a bad looking car. It's actually pretty stylish. You can see some of the lines here in the grille that come from the higher Lexus end. The only thing I dislike is right here, these big oversized plastic grates that don't do anything. I really don't see any need for that. It's just really just kind of a little bit too much to the front end, but other than that I think it's a pretty good front end. Now the headlights, I think they're LED, so they're pretty bright. They do a fairly good job. I like the rims. I think they're pretty stylish looking. It's a nice combination of what's really common right now with the black rims with some of the like brushed aluminum accents. Yeah, I guess pretty good looking lower rocker arms down here. I mean, all in all, I think it's a pretty good looking car. It's got some nice lines to it. I like the back end. I like the way the taillights look. They're slightly dark. They're not like really bright red. They're nice and dark. Little spoiler going on there. Now, you have dual tips on this side, and then it's cut out for dual tips here, but it's not. I don't think it would have been that much more to just go ahead and add a second set of tips to just kind of balance the car out. But other than that, I mean, I kind of like the outside. I think it's a pretty good looking car. Before we get to the inside, one thing I kind of dislike that all my General Motors products have is we have a transponder key. There will be a button here on all the door handles that you just push. So all you need to do is keep the key in your pocket. Now I know that might sound simple and petty, but you know, like when you're traveling and you have suitcases, and I mean even when you're grocery shopping and stuff like that and you got your hands full, it's so nice to just keep a key in your pocket, hit a button, unlock the car, and come in. And then also I've gotten so used to having a push button start that having a key takes a little getting used to. So it's especially when you're traveling, you got camera gear and everything, and you're fiddling around with all this stuff. I don't really like that. So here, door panels are basic plastic. There's no cushion here. I'm not sure if there's a higher end trim level. I'm not that familiar with Toyotas, but I mean, not all in all, I mean, it's not bad. It's a little soft here. You got your water bottle holder, stuff like that. There. Other thing kind of missing in this car is normally on your mirrors you get those yellow lights that'll light up, let you know that somebody's in your blind zone. Also, a lot of cars now have sensors, so when you're backing up, get close to something, it'll beep. This car does have a backup camera, but it doesn't have any of the other collision sensors. Now one thing I will say I've not been a big fan of is the sun visor right here. See, like a lot of my GM products, the whole visor slides back, so if you're taking a turn and now the sun's in the front, you just push it forward and swing it. This one, if the sun's back here, you're gonna have to push this forward and then move it. So that, I'm really not a big fan of how that works. So I'm not sure what the trim levels on this one's just pretty basic. You got a sunglass holder here, some reading lamps. That's your 4-ways, I believe, or I don't know, it says SOS. Oh no, that's a phone call. Let's not push that one. I would say all in all, I think the interior is pretty stylish. I like it. I will say this does kind of look like just a cheap afterthought. It doesn't fit into the dash very well. Now I know some people might be easy to read and all that, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Just want to say, like I said, it just doesn't seem to fit in here very well. you kind of got this weird pocket here that's kind of under everything. You also do have a hideaway, which pretty cool. It locks into place and then it comes back. Really nice big center console. You have a USB-C and a regular USB connector in there. You also have another USB connector here and your regular cigarette lighter. Plug right there. So you've got plenty of options there. Dash is pretty basic. You just have a water temp, cold, hot, your speedometer and that. You do have some features here. Okay, so you have your tire pressure, your trip. Yeah, so far we've been averaging about 34 miles a gallon out of this thing, so it's been pretty good. Maintenance required. Okay, so that's one thing. LTA, lane turns, or lane keep assist. Something I'm really not a big fan of. I wish it could turn off. I find myself like in a turn, having pressure on the steering wheel, and then all of a sudden it sees I'm close to the line, and then it gets really light. Now, one thing I do think is really, really cool is right here you have this, see, radar ready. The cruise control uses a sensor somewhere in the car, and it senses the car in front of you, and it will automatically adjust your speed. So that way, like in my cars, I have to tap the brake or exit out of the cruise control and slow down, and then maybe get over, because sometimes you just always can't get over when you're approaching somebody. So I always find myself having to turn the cruise control off, get over, and then re-engage it. This car will automatically adjust. I do like that. That is very, very slick, and so far from 2 weeks of using it, it has worked exceptionally well. I'm really happy with that, but I do wish that the steering assist, I wish I could turn that off. Maybe you can. I don't know. I haven't found a way to do it. But so there is, I think that's automatic high beam. I think that's what that is. Like my car, if I turn on the high beams and it senses the headlights coming the other way, you can it'll automatically turn off. Now as far as the sound system here, nothing that spectacular in this car. I mean, it sounds okay. Looks like you have some speakers here in the dash, in the door, and then you have some in the back. So it's okay. It does the job. I've been a guy that's been into a lot of car audio stuff in my life, and I have Bose in a lot of my cars, and this doesn't quite compete. But like I said, I'm not sure the price point of this car, what the model level is. There might be some higher end options, but this particular model, I mean, the audio is okay. For most people, they'll probably do. Check out the seats. I do like them. They're actually fairly comfortable. They're not as bolstered as a lot of my cars are, but they're more sports cars. So this feels pretty good. They're actually, you know, we've spent a lot of the drives we've had here in Idaho have been extended, so we've been in the car for 2+ hours, and it's felt pretty good. Car feels fairly quiet. No complaints with that. If rear leg room is something important to you, you might want a bigger car. I'm a taller guy, 6'1". I drive the seat all the way back, so there's room back here. It's not the best, but I mean, honestly, like a lot of cars don't really have the most leg room anymore. Now, trunk space for a smaller car, yeah, it has an amazing amount of trunk space. We've put 2 carry-ons, 2 book bags in here. See, with that book bag there, we still got plenty of space. And something that's nice, which probably don't even think of anymore, is it does actually have, even though it's a donut, it has a spare. A lot of people now, a lot of car makers are going to like an inflation system. Hi. So it is nice that it actually has a spare. Okay, so here's your emission sticker, right? There's no size listed. I don't know what size engine this is. It looks pretty busy. There's a lot of stuff in there, but you know what? It's done a good job. It feels pretty peppy when you get on it. My only complaint would be is when you do step on the gas, there's a definite lag. There's a delay in the response. for the car reacting. But all in all, I mentioned before, we've been getting like 34 miles a gallon out of the car, so no complaints. It's like I said, it's had enough power to get us by, and it's pretty peppy, so it's not too bad. So all in all, my thoughts, it's a pretty good car. I think if you bought one, you'd probably be pretty happy with it. But for me, myself, no, I'm sorry, Toyota. I'm not giving up my General Motors products. I love them too much. I'm comfortable with them. It's what I've had. But I mean, it's not a bad car. I do like it. It's been a good car. We've had it for 2 weeks, so I've gotten to drive it around quite a bit. I will say that the steering feels a little twitchy on the interstate. Like, if you grab the wheel just a little bit, it feels a little twitchy. Handling is decent. It's not like the best, but you know, it's not a sports car. It's a family sedan, so it rides fairly well. You know, it's not tight like one of my Camaros. It's not a tight suspension for cornering, but it's not harsh, but it's not overly soft, so it's a good combination. So I do like it. It's a pretty good car. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick little review of a General Motors person's perspective on the Toyota. If you like traveling on it, make sure you subscribe. We travel all over the world and the country in our motorhome. I'd like to see you back for more. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one.